Hello, and welcome to the GBC Productions channel. This is episode 87. In this video, I will be replacing the thermostat on a GM 3100 engine. The highest the temperature gauge gets to is about at the quarter mark there, if I'm lucky. It has not thrown a check engine light for some reason, but I was expecting it to show a P0128, which means that the engine is not reaching operating temperature fast enough. As you can see, this is the 3100 engine. This also applies to the 3400. To start, I'm going to remove all of this between the air filter and the throttle body. Mass airflow sensor, intake air temperature, all of that. There's a clamp here and a clamp here. And then I have to disconnect the mass airflow sensor, the intake air temperature sensor, and then the breather tube, which goes to the rear valve cover. I'm going to pause and I'll be back once I have this all removed. With that undone, we can see the thermostat housing right here, which has the upper radiator hose connected to it. It's not in the greatest location. It's pretty tough to get to. I have worked on worse though. Anyway, this is the original thermostat. It's been in there almost 20 years. I'm going to drain some coolant out, and then I'm going to grab a flashlight and show you the two bolts that I have to get to. The coolant is draining, so let's take a look and see if I can show you these bolts. They're probably not going to show up too well on camera. They're really buried in there. You can't really see the lower bolt, but that one does not have to be removed all the way. The upper bolt is right there. And that one does have to be removed all the way. I have the housing out. I ended up disconnecting the upper radiator hose as well. Here's the housing. To get the lower bolt out, I used a distributor wrench. This is a 1/2-inch distributor wrench with the adapter to hook it to a ratchet, and this wrench is part of a serpentine belt tool by Gear Wrench. I had to feed it underneath that exhaust pipe. The upper bolt I was able to remove with a regular 13mm socket and extension. Now we can see the thermostat there. I'm going to use a pair of needle nose pliers to grab onto it and pull it out of there. Here's the old thermostat with the seal. I cleaned up the surface in there and it's all ready for the new one. The info on this thermostat is a 44mm and it opens at 195 degrees. Doesn't really show up on camera too well, but it says it at the bottom. Again, this is the original thermostat, so it's been in there for a long time. Here's the new thermostat. It's by Stant. There's a part number. I'll open this up. And it already has the seal on it, ready to go in. I'm going to put it in facing this way, because that's how the old one came out. Then I'll get the housing back on and tighten the bolts down. The thermostat's in and the housing is back on. I did take off these two hose clamps in order to move this pipe out of the way a little bit so I can get to that upper bolt. Everything's been going fairly smoothly otherwise. Now I'm going to hook up the upper radiator hose, put coolant in, and check for leaks. All the hoses are back on. I've put coolant in. It's still kind of bubbling. There are a couple of bleeder screws, one here and one over here, that uses a 7mm socket. I'm going to open those and let the air out. The engine's running. It's warming up. I'm waiting on the thermostat to open. I opened the bleeders before I started the engine. So once the thermostat opens and then the fan is run through a cycle, I can make sure everything's working. Alright, we're back inside looking at the temperature gauge. It is coming up. Before, it never got this hot. It cooled down a little bit when I had to retighten the clamp. But everything's working now. Don't forget to subscribe for more, mash that like button, and comment below. Until next time, this is Uncle D from GBC Productions, signing off.